don't have anyone to tell me that. So every day, 3 times, every single time I would get an opportunity, I'd have my videos tell me who I was.
You're beautiful.
Until I program myself, now I don't have to listen to that one. So it's steps. That was my first one.
Yes.
And then my second step. And then work on that one. So my journey has been for the past 2 years. It may take me another 10 years to get to where I want to be.
Yes.
But step by step, you can't, there's no magic. There's no magic. One thing's going to work because we've gone through so much abuse, so much. People tell you you're not worth much, you're not going to do this, you're not. That's how we're programmed. We can't just reprogram it so fast. So step by step.
5 years. 5 years, and then also like, so what happens if what happens if your computer gets a virus? What do you do with it?
Keep working on it.
You get it clean right away. What if your phone? We upgrade our phones all the time. We're constantly putting new programs in. We're constantly. If our phone isn't charged, plugged in, what do? We panic. Does anybody have a charger? Does anybody have a charger? But we never plug ourselves in. We never upgrade our program. We're operating off an old DOS system, and now we're moving into Web 3.0. That's basically what's happening with life. You think about it, we're living off of rules that were designed when we didn't have Instagram and TikTok and second attention spans and pornography and all this stuff in our face. Nothing new under the sun, but it was a lot slower, more methodical, right? And so we're dealing with this new realm of life where it's like, yeah, you've been with me 5 seconds. Let me move over here. Let me figure this out, right? We're all running away from ourselves. We're running away from ourselves. And like she said, you have to constantly program because we're being programmed every single minute of the day. Every single minute of the day, whether it's, the TV you're watching or, Kev nailed it recently when he talked about, like, we used to walk into a place and you would see a TV and you would sit there and you'd be programmed for that moment in time. And then you could walk away and go play outside. But now, look at all of us, to include me. I've checked my phone probably 15 times. I mean, I keep going back in there and checking it. I'm like, there's nothing on there. But that's programming. I literally, if I'm sitting there talking to somebody, I'm like, God, don't look at it. But we're programmed. And it's a worth thing, like you said. How many people look at TikTok? How many people, okay, oh, I don't give a shit what people look. Then why do I keep looking at something? Right? And so it's this programming that we put in our head. So we're true warriors going into this battle of a whole new, we're living off old rules in a brand new paradigm, right? Because what you see is now it's like, oh, you see the Instagram, that person has a really nice car. And I want to share with you guys that please, and I know you guys know this, but please don't compare yourselves to people's lives on social media. And we're experiencing some heavy influencers that we're coaching, and it's like, the issue they come to us with is not what you think. They're like, I'm trapped. I literally have millions of followers and this is not who I am. I'm fucked. I'm like, guess what? Expose yourself. You'll be way more powerful. Do one video that says I'm a fake. This is actually, I'm depressed, I'm alcoholism, I'm screwed up, this is not what our life looks like. I'm actually renting this car. This house is about to get repoed and you will get way deeper followers than you ever imagined. And so we're comparing our lives off something that's not reality, but it's nothing new under the sun, right? It's been happening since in the Roman days, right? Somebody comes in their garbs and the peasants are like, oh, I could never achieve that. And it's like, you don't know what's going on in their mind, right? That's why Buddha, right? Buddha was being fanned, and like if I read the story right, and he's like, what's out there, man? I want to see what's out there. We're always trying to figure out what's outside of ourselves, and the whole goal is to get inside of yourself.
It's really good that you say that because I've worked myself up from zero, got a food truck, and I started doing social media in the Minneapolis area. And I grew a following, and I continuously looked, and man, as soon as somebody said something negative, and then we finally built it to a restaurant, and we got somewhere around 6,000 followers. And it was this, I was just looking for any negative. The positive stuff was good, and it fed me for a little while. But that negative stuff, it was like, really drag you down.
I love this conversation. We got to unpack that. So Kev calls it the white pants strategy. You want to talk about that?
So I'm wearing, because I don't know, this is just how my brain works. But but, and I just stole that just phrase from John, because I hang around him so much. But he's always like, this is how my brain works. But I was wearing these white pants, and they had been washed and everything. I literally did a post on it because I was like, what is this? What is going on? So I'm wearing these white pants, and they got like this yellow looking like bleach stain on them. And I'm like, man, I gotta throw them out. And I'm like, wait a minute. Do I have to really throw them out? So I'm like, nope, science time. Let's do an experiment. I'm ready to do an experiment. So I'm like, I'm gonna wear these. And I'm going to adopt the idea that it's not there. And I'm gonna see if anybody mentions it. So I wear the pants out. I'm wearing it just like I get dressed up. I'm wearing them like I wanna wear them. Nobody mentions it. In fact, somebody literally comes into the gym and is like, dude, I love those pants, man. And I'm like, whoa, okay, I'm like, that little spot, I can correlate that to maybe imperfection that I have, something that I'm dealing with. And it seems like, it's like, I got this thing, man, I'm just, but it's you that's really, really, really paying attention to it, not everybody else. It's you, we're our own worst enemy in a lot of situations. In the majority of the situations, it's really just us having to accept it and being okay with it, and being like, oh, okay. No, do I have to throw the entire pants out? No, they're still pants. They still serve their purpose. You can wear them.
It goes back to the work thing that she talked about, because what happens is in a normal situation, right, where Kev's standing there, someone comes up and goes, those are nice pants. Most people will be like, oh, but I got a yellow spot on them.
Right.
And we point people to the negativity, or you walk up and be like, wow, you look beautiful, but I have a zit on my forehead. Oh, and it's like, oh, you do have a zit on your forehead. It's like, oh, that's a nice Lamborghini. Just scratch, somebody scratched it right here. What we do is we are trained, we are programmed from our past to direct you to the negativity. That's what we're programmed to do. Immediately, someone's like, you look good. It happened to me at the gym this morning. You came up to me and said, hey, listen, how do you stay so ripped at your age? I think it was that was the fun. And I almost immediately said, oh man, I'm feeling fat right now. I almost said it because I was like, but you came to me and gave me a compliment. And I was like, oh, well, and I was like, brain stop. I'm like, don't point out how you feel, point out what he said. I'm like, thank you. And I was like, well, I'm fasting, I do this. I don't feel like that, but he saw that, and I almost immediately said, well, yeah, I'm a little chubbier than I've ever been. And it was an immediate, automatic response. So it's the social media thing. Like, I'll read thousands of positive comments, and boom, the negative one just shoots out at you, and we grab onto it. And so that's our battle as we go into this next world. You're fighting with your drink cycle.
So how many of you have a manager? Like a job? How many of you have a job that you have a manager that manages you? Okay, quite a bit. Okay, so, or a wife. So, anybody manages you, right? Or in corporations, or in traditional organizational management or structure and things like that. When you have a sit down and you have like a one-on-one, or even if you have employees and you have a one-on-one with them, what do you talk to them about? All the fucking things they're doing wrong that they're not good enough at. So it's normal that we think that when anybody gives us a compliment, we're just going to point out the negative. And so, like, if you really look at like leadership and management, you don't do that. You find out what that person's good at, and you just make sure that they just focus on that thing that they're good at. Because it doesn't matter what they're bad at, it doesn't matter what they did wrong, it only matters that they're continuing to do the thing that they're good at. And that's how you create really successful people over time that become amazing people. But our whole lives we're conditioned for, oh, you did a good job. My wife does it all the time to our niece who lives with us. Like, she'll do a really good job sweeping, and then Danielle will come out and she'll be all like, you missed this spot, you missed this spot, this looks horrible, but from like 2 days ago, it could have been effing amazing. Right? Like, it could be like, this sounds better, but that's just how we're conditioned. We're always conditioned to look at everything that's wrong with us, to try to make something that we're never going to reach, because no matter how much you think about it, or no matter what you want, or no matter when you get it, it's never going to be what you want it to be.
Yeah,
Never is going to be what you want it to be.
That's powerful, yeah. Because when you get there, it's not what you think.
Never is.
When you get, it's just not what you think. It's not. It's not. Especially when it comes to money or finances or success, you like, fall in love with the journey. Don't fall in love. For example, I used to compete in bodybuilding. and you would train. I realized I didn't even like getting on stage in a small bikini in front of people, but it was like, when I got up there, it was like, it wasn't even, when it was over, it was like, it was like this weird process. It's a weird sport. Two guys are back there oiling each other up. And it was weird. If you really look at it outside of here, like, it was weird. And so you're standing in bikinis in front of 300 people. It's just a weird thing. And when I got done, I was in love with the journey, the trials and tribulations, getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, working harder than anybody else, eating meals with people like, you're going to eat that? I'm like, yes, I'm going to eat that because I have a goal. And I was in love with the journey. So fall in love with the journey. Fall in love with the dream killers, and make it a game. Make it a game from here on out. You're like in a video game now. It's like, okay, oh, look at those pants. It's like that thing that he did. I was like, oh, no, I got this. Thank you for the compliment. This is how I do it.
Right? And think about how long, like we're up here obviously. I'm trying to help you guys to see from our perspective, but think about that. This is JV, y'all. This is why we're all here for the most part, right? And he said, I almost. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not like we're these gurus of, oh no, we cut it off every time. It's like, no. It is going to continuously happen over and over and over again. And once we call it flaming arrows or like punches or whatever, I call it mental kung fu. It's like, once you see it coming, it's up to you to be like, and move it out the way or just evade it. You have those decisions because your mind, that they're just the words and the thoughts and all of that stuff is coming at you. And you have to make that conscious choice to be like, wait, no, based off of what I've learned, I need to first accept this compliment, and then I have to change my own thought process about trying to point out something negative, because that's not what I want. Yes. That is not what we want. What we want, we can think about, but we don't normally verbalize. See, we have to verbalize it and change our thinking, and actively over and over and over again. We do this all day, every day. You get tired, but you gotta continuously do it over and over and over again. Just continuously be like, no, you accept that, accept the compliments. And start with just one thing. Sometimes it's just that. When somebody says, oh, you look great, hey, thank you. And leave it at that. Don't, well, you know, it's like, no, it's just, thank you. Boom.
Because the important thing about manifestation is if he says a compliment to me and I block it, I'm not blocking manifestation and abundance. You're blocking. Like if somebody, so for example, we learned to accept, I was struggling. My mom's like, here's a $500 gift card. And I was like, all prideful. I'm like, wow, I start crying. I was like, thank you, thank you. I come in here, he's like, dude, my tires just went out. I'm like, here you go. He's like, thank you. Boom. Now here we are. We just kept going, thank you. Oh, thank you. I had 20 bucks, I gave him 10. I was like, thank you. We just kept going. We just like, and we always say to people when we give them something, like, no. I'm like, accept it. Right. Please accept this. Don't be, someone walked in when we're starting to succeed and gave him money. It was like, thank you. Like, you want me to give me your money? Thank you. And I go, well, accept compliments, accept, because you're showing the universe, God, like God is like, hey, I just brought somebody into your life to give you a compliment, to get you on the right path, and you keep rejecting it. What are you doing? Like, and the story, you get up to heaven, and God's like, I showed you this, and I showed you this, and I showed you that. And you're like, oh, man. So be accepting. Practice tonight. Maybe we go out to dinner, somebody gives you a compliment, thank you. Someone buys you a drink, thank you. We have, what's the girl's name? She's going to be there tonight. So, oh, man, we're going to she's coming. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to dive into it. So Resolute, this part of the program is very important. This is where most people get derailed on their way to success. We must take our time to identify dream killers. Now and I knew this was going to work because when I designed this is the part that was different from the other programs. They give you all the tools and resources. You have this big tool belt, but they don't teach you this part. You go out there and you're like, yeah, I'm motivated. I got my books and I got my new shoes and I'm ready to go. And all of a sudden, it's dream killers. Bow, 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 bow. And you're like, it doesn't work. Shit doesn't work. This is mumbo jumbo bullshit. And then you get disgruntled and you find another coach and you grab onto another coach and it's like, it's not us. It has nothing to do with us. That's why we played, you're probably like watching that video like, what the hell was that? Usually, we want to do the complete opposite. I want you to see how broken I am. That's me. That video was me. I'm broken as shit. I'm still broken. I still got issues. Like, I don't like when they come out and it's like, oh, and he did this, and he did this, and he did this. It's like, yeah, but that's what got me here, man. the brokenness, and that still exists inside of me. I still have an addictive personality. What's up with you about that? I'm like, I have an extremely addictive personality, so guess what? I'm addicted to transmuting sexual energy, working out, and success. If not, I would be probably back in a crack house, to be honest with you. I have a very addictive personality, and I know that, right? And so I transmute my energy into something positive. So that doesn't mean that's not part of me. It still exists inside of me, but this is what changed the game for me. I'm able to see dream killers coming. I'm like, boom, that's a dream killer. Here it comes. I can feel the person coming. I'm like, all right. I look him in the eyes. I'm like, okay, I know what you're doing right now. And I can, it's like ninja. It's like, it's freaking awesome. You knock it down, but then sometimes it will beat you though. That's the thing. It's gonna kick your, a week ago, I lost it. I completely lost it. I was so fucking angry, and it got me. I was hanging up on people, I was yelling at people, and I'm like, it was there, and I was like, okay. I laughed about it, we all went to breakfast, we were good. I was just pissed, I was like pissed. It was what dream killers got me. It grabbed onto me, it grabbed my legs, it smacked me on the ground. I self-reflected that, and I'm like, that was fun, that felt good. It felt good to go back to that dark place, because you gotta visit it. You need contrast, right? Like,
So one thing I do whenever I fall over, because it happens, and one thing I've learned to do that makes it better, because I have an understanding of how everything works,
Yeah.
but I also understand that I'm gonna fall, I'm gonna come down, but I'm also gonna come up.
yes,
One of the things that really helped me is being grateful for falling.
yes, yes, yes,
Appreciating it, because if you don't
Yes.
fall, then you're not gonna continue to go higher.
yes,
You must come back down to shoot back up even higher.
yes.
So you have to appreciate when you do fall. You
Yeah.
have to know that something good's coming. You just have to recognize it, notice it, and be grateful.
Yep, and that's powerful, because if people, let's go into crypto, guys, group of crypto people. If people in the crypto market can understand that one concept, they'll all be rich. That's what I do. When the market would collapse, I'm like, thank you so much, and I would buy more. And when it went up, I'm like, thank you so much, and I would sell at the top. And I just kept doing that. I'm like, oh, this is fun. Why is everybody so angry? I'm like, I would just kept making money, and it would go up, and one report would come out, and it was good. Yeah, and the thing that I would say in the workouts when I get really fired up on Rare Form Saturdays, I'm like, you would have no idea what it feels like to be rich if you've never been poor. You'd have no idea what it feels like to be sick if you've never been well. You'd have no idea what it feels like to have a good relationship if you've never had a poor relationship. You have to fall in love with contrast. You have to have contrast. But how do you make the muscle look pretty? Shred it apart. You destroy it. You break it down, and then you give it good nutrients and love. You sleep and you rest. Everything that is beautiful takes I hate to wear a violent process. The caterpillar becoming a butterfly. The apple seed breaking through the ground. The bamboo, 5 years. Underneath, it's going through this process. It doesn't get to see any light, and all of a sudden it's like, I'm here! And it's this beautiful bamboo. 5 years of sitting in the darkness and building its roots, and it's ugly and it's gross, and then all of a sudden you see this beautiful bamboo tree that the pandas get to eat.